Hi, folks. It's Paul the Bossman back again. Another lesson, restaurant management here. Today we're going to discuss um, how to fix a restaurant. How to fix a restaurant's cleaning issues. But before we go there, I want to give you my website again. It is www.theboss.rocks, helping restaurant owners, managers grow sales, profits, personally, uh, professionally, and personally. Okay. Um, so how to fix a restaurant's cleaning issues? Starts at the top. Starts with the general manager. Um, he's got to want to do it. He's got to demand he has a clean restaurant. If the general manager isn't a clean person, doesn't have good cleaning habits, doesn't care, it's not going to happen. Point blank, period. And the first thing to go in a restaurant is their cleanliness. Okay, it's the easiest thing to keep because it's easier than food. It's easier to it's easier to clean than keep a quality product. Okay, anybody can clean. Okay, and most know how. Uh, but don't assume that. Okay, I actually had a girl that literally did not know how to hold a broom. Literally, she held it backwards. She's doing it all wrong and everything. So, uh, don't assume that they know because they won't always know. Uh, Next is standards. What is clean? Clean is free of visible soil. What is sanitary? Germ free. Actually, it's not germ free, but for the employee's purpose, it's easy for them to remember germ free. It's actually like 99% germ free. Okay. Um, but how do you get things sanitary? Okay. Well, just a little bit of bleach and some water does it. A little bit. Okay. And you can use your PPI um, uh, tape that you use for your dish for your sanitized station to check that. Okay, when you're making buckets of it, and you should have a bucket at each station. We'll cover that in a minute too. Um, this should be in your training program. I mean, amazing how everything comes back to training, doesn't it? Uh, and what am I doing now? Training. Uh, uh, Training program. If you do not include a section for uh, cleaning and sanitation, it needs to be in there. Also, it should be in each part of each station as well. Okay, so make sure if it's not in your training program, put it in there. Um, don't assume they know how to clean. Just discuss that one. A sanitizing bucket at each station. That's going to be. It's going to have a towel. It's going to be a little. You make it any size you want. It can be a 5 gallon bucket if it's a busy station. It can be a 1 gallon bucket. It can be a half a gallon bucket. Okay. Um, and these things you don't have to go out and buy them. Use your empty cottage cheese containers or your sour cream containers or something that you get in buckets. Okay, and use those. Um, and then each night, and then again later in the day that it needs to be changed. Change them as you go, and then I would always change them between lunch and dinner as well. But it needs to be the proper sanitized solution. Okay, a little bit of bleach and some water. If you guys use another sanitizer, that's just fine too. Okay, with a towel in it, so that they can clean it, wipe off counters or whatever as they go. Okay, as they go. Okay, which guess what? Clean as you go is the next one. Sweep as you go, mop as you go. Any spills need to be cleaned up ASAP. No bigger emergency in a restaurant. Something gets spilled, glass gets broken, someone gets hurt. No bigger uh, emergency in the restroom than a spill. Okay. Make sure you put up wet floor signs so that employees and/or customers do not get hurt. Okay. Um, this should also be on your daily checklist. Each station should have a daily checklist. What they've got to clean should be, excuse me, be on it. uh, Monthly and weekly checklist. There's going to be some things that only need to be cleaned once a month. There's going to be some items only need to be cleaned once, excuse me, once a week. make each station clean one. If there's five or if there's seven, if a station has 7 things that need to be cleaned a week, make them do one thing a night. If there's 5, then make them do them Sunday through Thursday or whatever. Okay, but make sure they get done and put them on the checklist and make sure they're using them. Closings. uh, my assistant managers always hated me about this. Is I'm really picky about my closings. They need to be immaculate, immaculate, not just clean, not just sanitized, immaculate. And why? Because you have all night to do it. I don't care if you get out of there at 4 o'clock in the morning. It better be close to perfect. Okay. And I not only when people closed, uh, my managers just didn't clean and leave they set up everything for the next morning. That means all the dishes got returned to the proper stations, set out in proper method. I'm not one. Well, I come in and I want to take chairs off tables because they put the chairs on the tables to sweep them up underneath them or vacuum or whatever. To me, it's just laziness that you don't put it back down. Why don't they? You think about it. They close at midnight. You don't reopen until say 10 o'clock. Now you come in at 8 or 9. And what if one of your people? What if it snows that morning and people are late? They don't have time to take chairs down, or something's going to get skipped. Because guess what? They showed up late because there's a snowstorm or their car broke down or whatever. You only have a few hours, an hour to a few hours, to open the store. You have all night to close it. So when you come in, when the manager opens in the morning, everything should be ready to go except basically put the cash in the drawer, go to the bank, and you're prepping food for that you're going to use. And there should be enough. And if you're doing it right, you should have food. When you prep for today and then 50% of tomorrow or 25% tomorrow. So there's already some stuff. Basically, you're looking at turning on things, getting them hot, taking care of your money and your banking, and you're ready to open. Okay. Now they can do a lot more than that if you bring them in early enough. They can start prepping. They're going to start doing stuff prepping for the rest of the day and for part of tomorrow too. And they're going to start working on getting that stuff done or big orders or whatever. But again, you have all night to close the restaurant and you only have a few hours, an hour to a few hours to open it. Make them get as much done for you as possible, period. Okay. If you're expecting less of your closing managers or of yourself, and the thing is, once you start doing it, they get out. It's the managers. Oh, I get out here 15 minutes after close or half an hour after close. Yeah, but what the hell are you doing? Thing is in 3 months, if you make them do a lot more at closing, they're still going to get out in 30 minutes because that's the type of people they want. They want to get out in 30 minutes because they got a party to go to or whatever to do. They don't want to be there. They want to hurry up and go home, just like we all do. So they'll figure out a way. They'll start getting things done earlier, and they won't be there all night long. But again, just like making just like product, you make it right first, and then you get fast at it. So you make them do good closings first, then they can get fast at it. Okay. Do an inspection on your store. Start at the outside of your restaurant. Is there trash all over the place? Does the building need painted? Is there light bulbs out? Is the signage right? So on and so forth. Does the parking lot need to be repaved or painted? And these aren't necessarily things that fall on you, but these are things you can take to your boss and say, hey, gives us a poor image. That's where image starts, is in the parking lot and with signage outside. So you got light bulbs. Now your sign, that's really bad sign. Okay, is when signage doesn't have enough lights in it. That says you're cheap. And what kind of food are you gonna get? But it goes for the light bulbs inside the restaurant too. If you got light bulbs out there, customers notice that, and again, it makes you look cheap. It makes you look like you're not paying attention to details. So it's not just making a cleaning list, but it's also including the outside light bulbs and maintenance issues too. Even though you may not be able to sign off and tell someone to do the maintenance issues, you still want to make note of them and pass them upward. Okay. Um, and then sometimes you hear restaurants have cleaning parties. I'm not a big fan of cleaning parties, just because one, it is extra labor. You bring people in after you close or whatever, and everybody cleans the restaurant. Big cleaning party. Well, screw that shit. You should be doing that shit every day. Why in the hell should I pay you extra hours to do what you should have been doing to begin with? And I don't want to be there at 3 o'clock in the morning doing this crap. Get it done. So yeah, late afternoons are a great time to clean. Not enough restaurants clean during that time. From 2 to 4, a lot of good cleaning can get done. If your cooks are good, they'll have the prep work done by opening, and so it's not like they have to do more prep in the afternoons. Have them pull out the fryers, clean the wall behind it, sweep and mop back there. Have them go clean the coils on the refrigeration. Have them clean the windows. Your front door windows should be cleaned regularly. And the inside and outside, if you've got windows across the front of your restaurant, should be cleaned daily. Okay. Um, but your door should be cleaned almost hourly. Your people should be on that because handprints get on it and everything else. But there's you can flip you, and that's another thing is sanitation. Make sure you got good rotation. You're labeling all your containers. Was made on Monday at 4 o'clock. Monday, and then the date, and then the 4 o'clock or whatever. Make sure you're labeling everything. And those things get flipped and rotated every single day. Every item needs to be flipped and rotated every single day. And make sure you're always putting old product on top of new. And when I say old product on top of new, not in the same container, because if the old is bad, it's going to make the new bad too. You got a new container for a container on top of a container. Okay, so your old container is on top, your new container is on bottom, so they're using it FIFO, first in, first out, that type of thing. Okay, but make sure you got a new container. That new food goes in a new separate container. Again, dated and labeled. That wraps up your cleaning and sanitation issues, and this is be one of the very first things if you take over a restaurant you're going to cover immediately, because it's one of the easiest things to fix, and it gets employees to know, hey, new sheriff in town, I have different expectations, and you're going to be handling multiple problems all at one time, but it's going to be one of the first ones you handle. You're going to be hiring people. You're going to be fixing food cost problems, product problems, labor cost problems, sanitary and cleanliness issues. So you're going to be working a little bit on everything all at one time. But cleaning should be one of the first ones you get accomplished. It's because it's the easiest. It doesn't talk back, doesn't give you a hard time, or anything. It just comes down to checklists and habits for the most part. Anyway, this is Rock, or Paul, the boss man, or the boss. Here's my website again. I'm not going to read it to you this time. I've read it to you so many times now. One of these days, I'm not going to have to hold it up in the right spot. I'm just going to put it right there, and I'll have it right. I won't be doing this zigzagging stuff. So, anyway, you all have a great day. Thank you for listening. I hope I've helped you manage your restaurant a little bit better.